Why do we sit here being silent, watching our leaders turn into tyrants? Have they forgotten which side they're fighting for? Checks and balances set aside and rule of laws, youths and ours, and Constitution openly ignored. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Is it time for right and left to join a greater cause? Man, I'm not okay. The rich claim to be victimized just to attack the marginalized. Is 1% really worth more than all the sick and poor? Always preaching about fellowship while planning their dictatorship. Now we've seen how all of this plays out before. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call. Man, I'm not okay. Ever wonder all the mystery, why they whitewash our history? Keep dividing is their plan. All in all, such a scam. Algorithm very sly, only used to spread the lies. Politicians know well, hate is simple to upsell. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call.
We are not okay. America is not okay, and we all know that. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is the Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Let's figure out how to get okay together. Hey, I'm not always right. I'm wrong plenty of times. I'm probably wrong as much as I am right, but I'm consistent. And I've always tried to be consistent. And I've said from the moment that Trump was sworn in a year and a month and a half ago, my God, think about that. This son of a bitch has been in the White House for only a year and a month and a half. Hang on. I said from the beginning, and I've repeated every week and every month and sometimes every day since then, that of all the issues, of all the gin joints in the world, of all the issues and all the craziness and all the chaos and all the incompetence and all the unconstitutionality and all the cruelty and all the lies and all the madness and all the fascism, of everything that Trump has done in this first year or so. And at the beginning, I said, of everything that Trump is going to do, of all the bad shit, un-American shit, anti-democratic shit that Trump is going to do, man, I think the biggest and the worst, and I think the thing that will decide the 2026 midterms is what he's doing on our streets with ICE, with these masked federal thugs. What Trump is doing, where he's taken immigration enforcement in this country, I just believed from the get-go that as every week and every month went by, more and more Americans, as they saw these videos, as they saw the cruelty, as they saw the lawlessness, as they saw the terror, as they saw Latino Hispanic men being grabbed out of Home Depot and 7-Eleven parking lots, more and more Americans were going to stand up and say, this is not who we are. This isn't who we are. Like, Joe, I want our border enforced. And man, I want violent criminals who are in this country illegally. I want them gone, Joe, but I don't want this. This is not what we are. Grabbing 80-year-old Latino women who've been here for 30 years, raised kids here, grabbing them off the streets, detaining them, and then disappearing them into some foreign country. Joe, this is not who we are. I've always believed that the shock and awe of what Trump is doing on our streets, having masked federal thugs lawlessly roaming our streets. I've always felt that the shock of that, more than anything else, more than his batshit crazy tariffs, more than how he single-handedly fucked up the economy, more than, right, he's launching wars and regime change all over the world, more than anything. What ICE is doing is, what Border Patrol is doing is a gut check for all of us. I mean, a gut check. These sorts of gut checks that happen every now and then in America, where we're punched in the belly, man, and we got to decide, is this who we are? I've always thought this was going to be the biggest issue in the midterms. And it's clearly an issue that is moving the American people, and it's clearly an issue that is profoundly moving Latino and Hispanic voters in this country. Latino and Hispanic voters, who I want to remind everybody, I want to remind every Democrat listening to me, Latino and Hispanic voters who voted for Trump in humongous numbers in 24. Don't forget that, Democrats. You got your own, I'm a Democrat. We got our own problems, Democrats, when it comes to Hispanic and Latino voters. Man, they've turned on Trump now in a year on a dime, and they're fleeing Trump and my former party. But Democrats, man, they ain't going to run and jump in your arms, Democrats, unless we get our act together. And I want to remind every Democrat listening to me that the polling has always shown, the data has always shown that Hispanic and Latino Americans in this country legally, they, more than native-born Americans, oppose people coming into this country illegally. Hispanic and Latino voters, Americans who are in this country legally, man, the polling has always shown they want a secure border more than native-born Americans do. Democrats, you need to remember that. But because Trump's taken it to such a dark, ugly, cruel, hateful, un-American, lawless, fascist place, Latino and Hispanic voters in the past year who voted for Trump, who voted Republican in 2024, they're bailing. And that's why it was so interesting to hear Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday. He's down in Mar-a-Lago with all the House Republicans, right? They're down at Mar-a-Lago for their retreat, conference, whatever. Again, just helping to fill Trump's personal coffers. Mike Johnson, the one day, books will be written about how fucking openly corrupt Donald Trump was. One day, I believe those books will be written. Mike Johnson's down there yesterday, getting interviewed down at Mar-a-Lago, talking about Republicans and Hispanic and Latino voters. And here's how Speaker Johnson described Republicans' issues with Hispanic and Latino voters. Go ahead, Keith.
Sure. We got a little hiccup with some of the Hispanic and Latino voters for certain, because some of the immigration enforcement was viewed to be overzealous, and everybody can describe it differently. But here's the good news:
Keith, can you start over and just give me the
Secretary?
Give me the beginning of that again.
Mullen is going to be do a great job in that role. I'm sure that he'll some of the future.
Keith,
we got a little hiccup with some of the Hispanic and Latino
voters.
Stop it!
Thank you. Play the first 20 seconds of that again, brother.
future. We got a little hiccup with some of the Hispanic and Latino voters for certain, because some of the immigration enforcement was viewed to be overzealous, and
Thanks.
everybody
Stop. Thank you, Keith. A little hiccup. Mike Johnson, i.e., the Republican Party right now, believes that they've had a little hiccup with Latino and Hispanic voters. That's how Johnson describes it. Some of their immigration enforcement, he said, might be overzealous, a bit overzealous, interpreted to be a bit overzealous. We've had a bit of a hiccup, a bit of a fucking hiccup. I guess I'm saying this to every American, but most certainly right now, I'm saying this to every Latino and Hispanic voter listening to me right now. This is how my former party views you all and views what's happening right now. Everything. It's just a little hiccup. The 11 people who've died in ICE detention centers just this year alone, that's just a little fucking hiccup. The 31 people who died last year, mostly brown and black, died in ICE detention centers, a 2-decade high. Just a little fucking hiccup. Masked federal thugs denying due process left and right every day to brown and black people in this country. Mike Johnson, Republicans believe that's just a little hiccup. Grabbing Hispanic veterans in this country off of our streets. Just a little hiccup. Throwing 80-year-old Latino women into white vans off of the streets. Just a little hiccup. Grabbing Hispanic and Latino people in this country who've claimed asylum and are going through the process correctly and lawfully, and then ICE comes into the courthouses and grabs them as they appear for their hearings, grabs them and disappears them. Just a little fucking hiccup. Mike Johnson and the Republicans say, how you like me now, Latino and Hispanic voters? The thousands and thousands of Hispanics and Latinos being held right now in inhumane conditions in concentration camps all over this country. Just a little fucking hiccup, Mike Johnson? Grabbing 13-year-old Latino boys and girls? Disappearing them, taking them away from their parents? Little hiccup? Grabbing hundreds of Venezuelans without any due process, without any trial, detaining them, and then putting them on airplanes and dumping them off in the world's most violent prison in El Salvador? That's just a little hiccup, Mike Johnson. Look, again, I'm preaching to Latino and Hispanic folks in this country. This is how my former political party views what's been happening to you for the past year and a month and a half. Masked federal thugs lawlessly roaming our streets, racially profiling every Latino and Hispanic person in this country, terrorizing immigrants and citizens alike. My Latino and Hispanic friends, my former party believes that that's all just a little hiccup. By the way, again, just Latino and Hispanic voters, this is what my former party feels about what's been happening to you. All the death, all the fear, all the terror, all the displacement, all the family separation, all the lost jobs, all the being thrown into a foreign country that wasn't even the country of your birth, not the country that you came from. All of this, the utter terror that's been unleashed on our streets against Latino and Hispanic people, against Black and brown people. My former party, the Republican Party, believes it has all just been a hiccup. Pay attention, Latino and Hispanic folks. And by the way, on this, there was an election in Marjorie Taylor Greene's old district in Northwest Georgia yesterday. I'm not going to get into that election. The Republican is going to win that election. It won't be close. Democrats, don't get excited. But I want to bring up one result that's connected to this from that election yesterday. Keith, do we have those numbers on the Hispanic vote in Marjorie's district? Just look at this. This has been happening all over the country when it comes to the Hispanic and the Latino vote, all over the country in every special election since Donald Trump was sworn in. Again, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene's old district. It's like the most Republican district in the country. No, the Democrat is not going to win that election. But when you look at the most Hispanic precincts in that district, and how they voted in 24 and how they voted yesterday, and this has been happening everywhere. The most Hispanic precincts in that district, precinct 5A, they voted Kamala plus 21 and 24. Yesterday, they voted Democrats plus 74. Precinct 6A voted Kamala plus 23 and 24, plus 64 Democrat yesterday. And on and on and on. All of these precincts, primarily Hispanic voters in this overwhelmingly Republican district. I mean, the 30, 40, 50 some point difference from how they voted in 24. Even those last two, look at precinct ES. In 2024, they voted for Trump plus 41. They voted Republican plus 4. That's a 37 point swing. It's about a 30-40% swing in every Hispanic precinct in that district yesterday. Consistent with, thanks Keith, the swing in the Hispanic and Latino vote everywhere in this country so far, in every special election so far. And it's going to continue in these midterms if we have free and fair midterms, because ICE is going to continue doing what they're doing, and Republicans will continue to describe what ICE is doing as just a little hiccup. By the way, I just want to bring this point up really quickly before I get to the other main topic I want to talk about. Keith, do we have that post on HSI and DHS? Just a headline that I want everyone to be aware of. I talk incessantly about, and I know I talk incessantly about this because I hear from plenty of you. Joe, you talk incessantly about this. Donald Trump is right now. He's doing everything he can to fuck with the midterms. He's doing everything he can to mess with the midterms. He will do everything he can do to try to stop, cancel, put off the midterms, and he's going to do everything he can do to delegitimize and never, ever accept the results of the midterm elections, right? That's the president of the United States, right? A full frontal attack on our democracy and our elections process. Again, people ask me a lot why I call Donald Trump America's enemy. Oh my God, where can I start? I believe that though, and I'm never going to back down on that. Donald Trump, the current president of the United States, is America's enemy. He's an enemy of this country. I always start here. You attack our elections. Elections are the heartbeat of our representative democracy. You attack, you go to war against our elections. You are our fucking enemy. Trump is an enemy of this country. I talk a lot about it, everything he's trying to do, from putting troops on the streets, right, to he's going to put ICE agents at polling places, to everything. He's got secretaries of state in numerous states who are going to fuck with the vote. He's got a multi-tiered plan to mess with the election. Pay attention to this. This is part of his plan. HSI, you probably don't know what HSI is. It's a branch of the Department of Homeland Security, stands for Homeland Security Investigations. That's what HSI stands for. Typically, it's an agency, a branch of DHS that investigates drug cartels, investigates human trafficking networks. That's what HSI in DHS typically does. Well, look what HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, is doing right now. They're investigating the 2020 election results in Arizona. Huh? That makes no sense. HSI, a branch of DHS that investigates human trafficking networks, they're investigating the 2020 election in Arizona. They did the same thing a month or two ago. Remember when the FBI went down to Georgia, and grabbed all of those voting machines down in Georgia? Same thing here, Arizona. They're putting their clamps on Arizona. And if you want to know why, I'm just bringing this to your attention. This is part of what Donald Trump is going to do to try to fuck with our elections in November. This is all about, primarily, it was the same thing in Georgia. Look, a piece of what Trump is doing is seeking revenge, retribution against everyone and everything that tried to stop him from overturning the 2020 election. That's part of this, right? His stolen election lie. He ain't never, ever gonna let go of that. That's part of this. But this is all tilling the soil. Is it called tilling the soil? This is all laying the groundwork for the midterms. This is all about trying to fuck with the midterms and kind of lay the seeds down of what he's going to do in this election when it comes to trying to grab voting machines and intimidate people from voting and lay the predicate that the election was stolen. Because look, I even sent a DHS into Arizona and Georgia, and when you and I talk in another month, it'll be a couple more states. Man, we found a bunch of bad shit that went on in 2020, so it happened again in 2024. This is all part of Trump's effort to delegitimize these midterms. Period. There's no way on God's green earth a branch of the Department of Homeland Security, thanks, Keith, that investigates drug cartels and human trafficking networks. No way on God's green earth should that government agency, those folks, be working on investigating the 2020 election. But we don't have a Congress, so there'll be no hearings to investigate this. The Republican Party en masse, they just all sold their souls years ago. So Trump is free to use every aspect of the federal government to mess with and delegitimize the 2026 midterms. Final thing today, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. I've always had a problem with Joe Rogan and a lot of these other, there are a bunch of other Joe Rogans out there, kind of these humongous man, bro, podcasters, whatever they call them. And my problem has always been, look, Rogan's great at what he does, and he's got a gazillion people listen and watch to him every day, mostly men. It's generally a show. Rogan generally doesn't matter if what he says is true, not true, real, not real, made up, bullshit, doesn't matter. That's all part of Rogan's shtick. And I think there's a real danger there because a lot of people tune into Joe Rogan every day and every week. And if there's no distinction between something that's true and something that's an utter lie, and you just throw that out there in front of a billion eyeballs, I think day after day, week after week, that has a real corroding effect on our body politic. That's my biggest beef with the Joe Rogans of the world. You got a podcast, you got a show, you write, you do whatever. Don't lie. Don't put out bullshit. Don't put out disinformation, misinformation, or at least call it out for disinformation, misinformation. Joe Rogan yesterday, from the mouths of babes, Joe Rogan said this. Play it, Keith.
What just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did.
Thanks, Keith. Joe Rogan yesterday, who, by the way, supported Donald Trump, was a big Trump supporter. Rogan yesterday, to paraphrase, it just doesn't make sense that he started a war in Iran. Like it doesn't make sense. This isn't what Trump told us during the campaign. Like it's a betrayal, Joe Rogan said. And I think a lot of Trump supporters feel betrayed because this isn't what Trump told us. This isn't what Trump said during the campaign, Joe Rogan said. People feel betrayed. This isn't what people voted for, who voted for Trump. I mean, I know there's a part of you, maybe there's a part of me that wants to just hug Joe Rogan and just say, you're so cute, man. You're so cute that you believe any fucking thing Donald Trump said to you. But I don't want to hug Joe Rogan. I want to slap him upside the head. Because this is just so disingenuous. So Joe Rogan supported Donald Trump big time. And he used his platform. All the other males, young men that tune into Rogan every day. And Joe Rogan preached during that campaign, Trump, Trump, Trump. Trump will keep us out of wars. That's one of the things Rogan preached. Kamala's going to get us into wars. Trump said he's going to keep us out of wars. Rogan's preaching all of this during the campaign. Either Rogan's an idiot and he didn't know that Trump lies every time he opens his mouth, or Joe Rogan's lying. And he knew during the campaign that Trump was bullshitting about keeping us out of wars. America first, all the rest. Maybe Rogan knew Trump was bullshitting and lying. So Joe Rogan was lying, which is believable, right? Because Rogan's show is not about truth. It's about just putting shit out there to get folks fired up and pissed off, men primarily. But what the fuck, Joe Rogan? How can you say that with a straight? See, that's what pisses me off. So Joe Rogan comes out now and says it doesn't make sense. What is it, Joe Rogan? Were you legit fooled by Trump? And hello, if you were, where the fuck you been? Donald Trump lied to you, Joe Rogan. So I guess I'll assume that Joe Rogan thought Trump was telling the truth. So Joe Rogan, Trump lied to you, which is not hard to believe because Trump lies as he breathes. And you feel betrayed, Rogan, and you've got plenty of your listeners, plenty of your audience that feels betrayed. I get it, Joe Rogan. I talk to those people every day. I talk to people every day, Trump supporters, who feel betrayed by one thing or another that Donald Trump has done. This Iran war, they feel betrayed. Plenty of them do. Now, it needs to be said that the vast majority of MAGA supports what Trump is doing. So then the vast majority of MAGA was not sincere when they said, America first, no new wars. But there are Trump supporters, there are MAGA voters who do feel betrayed because I talk to them every day and I engage with them, Joe Rogan, every day, just like I'm sure you do. And you know what I tell them, Joe Rogan? Like, you know what I've said in the past week when a Trump supporter gets to me and says, Joe, what the fuck? I didn't vote for this. Trump didn't say he was going to do this. Trump didn't say he was going to start new wars. Trump said the opposite, Joe. You know what I say? What I've said to every Trump voter who's said that to me, Joe Rogan, this past week, I've said the following. I'm sorry. Trump lied to you. I'm sorry, Steve, that Trump lied to you. But, Steve, to be real, Trump lies all the time. And to be real, Steve, you got to own some of this. You got to own some of this because you chose to support a sociopath and a pathological liar. You're partly responsible for this. Like, you feel betrayed, Steve. I get it. I understand. And I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry that you feel betrayed. But you, Steve, got to own some of this betrayal because you chose to believe a pathological liar. You chose to believe someone who has no fucking core, Steve. I get it. You like Trump, but you chose to believe somebody that only cares about Trump. And he lies every time he opens his mouth. And then, Joe Rogan, you know what I say to Steve? I say, Steve, here's the deal. Trump's going to keep lying to you unless you condemn his lies or walk away from him. And Steve and all the other Trump supporters that I've spoken with in the past week, if you don't call Trump out for him lying to you, he's going to keep right on lying to you. Now, if I had Joe Rogan's podcast and I had one of these big bro podcasts and I had a gazillion people listening to me, that's the straight fucking poop I'd give people. You like Trump? Fine. You like what he wants to do? Fine. You like what he says he's going to do about immigration or the border or taxes or don't give anything to Ukraine, keep us out of wars. You like everything that Trump says he's going to do? If I had Joe Rogan's podcast during the campaign, I would have said, okay, fine, but be forewarned, Trump lies. He's got no core. He could turn on you in a dime, baby. Every time he opens his mouth, he lies. That's the chance, the risk, Trump voter, that you're taking. And look, I say this a lot. When I talk to a Trump voter about this, or I talk to a Trump voter who feels betrayed about Epstein, the Epstein files. Or I talked to a Trump voter who's pissed off about how Trump's fucking up the economy and shit costs too much. What's going on, Joe? Is fucking tariffs. Or when I talk to a Trump voter who hard on the border, get rid of violent criminals, but ICE has gone too far, Joe. Whenever I talk to Trump voters on these issues, man, I come from a place of empathy. I'm no holier than thou. I'm no lecturing kind of a dude. I voted for Trump in 2016. I supported Trump back in the day. I speak to Trump voters and I listen to Trump voters with great empathy. I mean, tough love, but great empathy. I get it. You've been lied to. I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. But I'm hopeful now, Steve, that you've realized he's full of shit. You can still support him, but you're taking your chances. He's going to lie to you and lie to you and lie to you. And by the way, Steve, we accidentally blew up that Iranian schoolhouse. We accidentally killed those Iranian school children. Steve, Trump is lying to you right now about that. Again, you can support Trump. You can support what he's doing, going to war against Iran. But we did that. Trump knows we did that. And he's even lying about dead school children. My message with Trump voters, unlike Joe Rogan's message, Joe Rogan just puts bullshit in front of them, right? And then when the bullshit flips, when Trump's lies come to the fore, Joe Rogan sits in front of his audience and says, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Joe Rogan says to his audience, all his men, like, I don't get it. This isn't what Trump said during the campaign. This isn't what he ran on. I feel betrayed. This doesn't make sense. Rogan continues to feed his male-dominated audience bullshit, insincere, disingenuous bullshit like that. To me, it says a whole bunch of how Joe Rogan views his audience, just like it says a whole bunch of how Donald Trump views his voters, right? If you lie to them all the time, you don't have a lot of respect for your voters, right? You don't really respect people that you lie to all the time. Well, Trump voters may not like me, but I'm always going to tell them the truth. I'm always going to, and that's what I've done this week. Okay. You're pissed off that Trump went to war against Iran. I get it. But again, Steve, you were lied to. Trump lied to you, man. And I feel bad about that. My hope is that you will wake up a little bit and call him out when he lies to you. Because if you don't call him out and condemn him, not the people around him, when he lies to you, he's just going to keep lying. It's on you, guys. I love you. I respect you, Trump voters, but it's on you. You got to own some of this. If you feel betrayed right now, Trump voters, you got to own some of this betrayal because you chose to believe him. Thanks, everybody. Go to Paxos.app right there. Go to Paxos.app. Check it out. Test drive Paxos. Our initial working version of this Know Your Rights tool is out. And we are getting it in the hands of immigrants and citizens all over the country, helping them know what they can do, how they can lawfully fight back against ICE. Go to Paxos.app, try it yourself, and please do me two favors. Put it in, send that link to folks you know in your city, in your community who would benefit from this lawful tool against ICE, and share any stories that you've got with us about people who are using it. Send an email to me at my email, The Social Contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. All one word, The Social Contract with Joe Walsh @gmail.com. Final note. There it is, Keith. Thanks, brother. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh, long ass email gmail.com. There's that. My Substack always, you know what it is. Social Contract with Joe Walsh.substack.com. That's my home. Everything I do is there. Check it out. Become part of our Substack resistance community. That would be just swell. I mean it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, follow, and share The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple, Spotify. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to The Social Contract on Substack. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.